We are going to move on now here on Studio 10, and next up, civil rights engagement, the local students who are participating in a civil rights trip to engage voters. I'm joined now by 8th grader Alejandro Quintero Cashor and humanities teacher Viva Sandoval of the Gordon School in East Providence. They're just back from a very educational trip to Georgia and Alabama and here to tell us all about it. Thank you so much for coming in. Alejandro, I'll start with you. I know a big part of the trip was meeting with the Georgia Project, which was formed to engage voters in the wake of the 2020 election. What was that experience like for you?
Well, it was really inspiring to see all these people, especially young people, working in an organization for a cause they believed in, and to see how the struggle for voting rights connects to so many other aspects of our society and different things that we're trying to figure out today.
Yeah, exactly. So much going on today, so it must have been a great experience for you. And I know there were a lot of historic sites on the visit. Viva, there was the Rosa Parks Museum, Selma, Alabama, the King Reflecting Pool. What's the goal in choosing particular locations for the students?
So every year we have some locations that stay consistent, like going to Selma because there was such, movement, such a big part of the movement happened in Selma, so that's a consistent one. But the New Georgia Project, for example, this year we were really thinking about how do we see the legacies of disenfranchisement infiltrating our political system today, and we wanted to meet with an organization that was actively fighting that fight on the ground. And so, I did a lot of research and tried to find an organization that represented the same type of values that we're trying to instill at Gordon.
Yeah, and it must have been important to meet with people who are working in our present day to try to make change, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What stood out from all the different locations? Were there things that stood out in your mind that you really are going to remember and keep with you?
I think just being able to connect the past struggles with the present struggles, and it was really vivid in a lot of different places that we went to, and so being able to see it visually and also physically be there just made it a lot more real than if you were learning in a classroom, because that experience is great, but it's even better when it's enhanced with this trip to where these things all happened.
Do you feel after going through this trip that so many of the struggles that we hear about, that you learn about from our past, that much hasn't changed and we're still struggling with the same issues today?
I do, yeah. I think that there's always room for improvement and there's always room for growth. And I think that's something that sometimes gets overlooked when there's a victory or something big that happens, because people think we've solved the problem, we don't need to worry about it anymore. But oftentimes that is not the case.
Yeah, and Aviva, I know Alejandro was one of 45 students, so it was a big group trip. How does this enhance what they're learning about social justice in the classrooms at Gordon?
I mean, it fully brings it to life. I think when you can walk in the same footsteps, literally, of such incredible activists. And for example, we met with Joanne Bland, who was 11 years old when she participated in the Selma March. And so she takes us through her old neighborhood where she grew up. She takes us to the church where the march started, and then we literally walk in her footsteps and we walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and we get to feel this visceral connection to the history. And when you finish walking over that bridge, she tells you, as you're walking over it, think about what you want to do in the world. What do you want to change? How do you want to make the world a better place? And so it's just such a incredible moment and experience, I think, for every student.
What a great real-life learning experience. Alejandro, Viva, thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you
for having us.
Next up on Studio 10, National Iced Coffee Day, how your drink could help.